Welcome to Vid-Ography, episode 8. I'm back again. I'm more back than Alyssa Edwards, back rolls. Hello, my name is Matt, and I'm your podcast host. First of all, can I just say, American Horror Story finale next week. I'm quite excited to see the end game of that. It has been an amazing and incredible series. Please go and watch it. It has absolutely been amazing to see Billy Lord come into her own this season, to see so many of the returning cast. Yeah, some of the most iconic ones, like Kathy Bates hasn't been a part of it, Angela Bassett. Of course, we all want Jessica Lange to come back, but I purely think that this series is smaller, contained, and it works really well for the format. And I've been enjoying it. Supergirl, Batwoman are back tonight for those that enjoy that. Also, if you're into The Walking Dead, that is also back on tonight. Black Lightning, I believe, is also scheduled to return tomorrow because we're heading into the run up to Crisis. Also, can I just say for today, the Addams Family, just finally seen it in the pictures. Absolutely wonderfully creepy, kooky. It's so gothic-y but modern. It's just like, if you could remember the old classic Addams Family comedy and that was adapted with the modern sense of humor, it absolutely works well with the music and everything. The acting is on point. Snoop Dogg as Cousin It, Oscar Isaac, who will also be back for as Poe Dameron for The Rise of Skywalker. It's nearly time, folks. Whoop, whoop. I I've been in the cinema today to watch it, and it was absolutely one of the most funniest films I have seen for a while for a children's film. I only purely went to see it today because of my sister and my nephew, and I've been planning to see it for ever since the first trailer came out. So it's been a long time waiting. I can't wait to see and hopefully hear they do a sequel. I've been seeing all the news today about Doctor Who, and look, folks, if it's a trailer or not a trailer on Children in Need or Doctor Who Day itself, just please go and enjoy it. It's quite going to be for a good cause anyway, Children in Need, so it'll be worth a watch anyway to know what is going to happen. And what a perfect day, Doctor Who Day, to hopefully have something at last. My fingers are crossed that we are into something good and something spectacular. But even if it's just a teaser or anything at this point now, it's anyone's guess or anyone's game of what's going on. Purely because I am biased, I purely believe it could be a trailer or it could be a minisode. But this, again, it just came across reading off as a minisode for Children in Need more lately. But again, we'll see this Friday coming up with what they've got up the sleeve. But again, it's all for a cause anyway. So here we are, folks. We're coming towards the end of Oliver Queen's run. We're getting ready to see the long-awaited return of Tom Welling as Superman as well. Brandon Routh as Superman. Well, he could just be Clark Tom again, but I mean, I just purely am just happy to hear that Crisis is done. But if they add anything now, it's just a surprise, and it's anyone's guess or game if they add like any more guest stars. But if they do, that'll be probably all done in separate studios. Gotta keep some things a secret and a surprise. Oh, but anyway. Oh, excuse me. I'm thinking now, because it's on the run up to winter, we are seeing so much great content that's going to be coming out. I'd like to say also congratulations, firstly, to Disney as well, for putting Karen Gillan up as Nebula for the Oscar nomination for her role in Endgame. That was absolutely an amazing performance from Karen Gillan. She has come so far since those days as Amy Pond, and wish her nothing but the best. I'm not a particular fan of Jumanji, but I've heard that one of the original actresses from the favourite one of mine, the one with Robin Williams, is back for this new one. She was the main girl from the first film, which I remember as being a kid. And apparently she's reprising her role for this Jumanji film, which is quite exciting. and I believe that alone is going to get me to watch the remake of Jumanji, if they're actually now no longer classing these as remakes and a direct continuation, because I personally thought it was a remake when I heard about the first one, but now hearing that continuity, I believe it's going to be quite pleasant to see how she'll fit into the story. No, folks, I still have not seen the new Terminator yet, but that's still on the hit list. Doctor Sleep's on the hit list. I'm still trying to plan out with my TV and film schedule what's taking priority, because unfortunately, because I ran so much out of time this year, Smallville I will pick back up after next year just to see more of the story again, because I mean, it's been an amazing year for television and film. I'm just so happy that the A game has been brought back. We're getting original writing, original creativity. That is exactly how television should be in animation, live action. You want a great story. You don't want nothing that's just done for the sake of it anymore. Because people actually want to invest time and effort in a show, not for it to be cancelled after 1 season, 2 seasons, or the story's not going anywhere. You want to keep it constantly fresh, bam, boom. The reason I'm so much more confident with doing these podcasts on my own is because I feel that the more that I'm doing on my own, the more that I'm growing enough to discuss proper content. I will be doing reviews. Don't you worry about it. The Addams Family one was just a little bit mini like review on here. But the thing that I get stuck with sometimes is trying to figure the right words, because this is audio sounding to me, so you'll have to be quite describing it with like visual natures, because unfortunately, folks, I don't possess the means to do visual like most people do on the internet, when you can add in like a video, watch it like the reaction channels or anything, but because that helps me, because I always feel when you're visually watching something, it always helps when you're doing like a proper review. I think if I'm going to do reviews, I am going to actually, this is just my thoughts, is if I want to do big old reviews, because when I reviewed Ravenous on this channel, that was purely done because it's Doctor Who audio and there's no visuals, and then I'm having to think about the visuals, where if it is something as visually stunning, I'd rather have it running along in the background and do the review at the same time, because then purely I get a sense more of what to do, where to go. It might be that I would do like exclusives elsewhere. Like I would, if it was full length reviews, I'd stick them to something like SoundCloud or here. Just depends, purely because I need to be sat down, no distractions or anything, just to start doing proper podcast reviews. I've been sitting down with my nephew and we virtually reviewed like Revenge of the Sith last night, and visually that is a stunning movie, so it might be worth me sitting down, watching these, and then properly doing a review alongside, but we'll see. We're back on track. So I have to say how amazing the telly's going to be at this point. I've been hearing a lot of great things about the War of the Worlds, which is starting this weekend on BBC. Oh, sorry, not this weekend. I'm thinking of next weekend, my apologies, because it's coming up soon anyway. So that looks quite good, ladies and gentlemen. I think that would be worth a watch. Also, I've heard there's an American adaptation of War of the Worlds as well this year, but that's also worth a watch. And I think we're getting ready now because Mandalorian drops this week. That's going to be very interesting to hear if it's getting enough positive feedback to warrant for the next season, because unfortunately we're in that time now where people are loving the Star Wars content but not quite sure how far we can take Star Wars, because to me I think Star Wars has an unlimited potential, and I get people's upsets with it because there is more to it than the Skywalker story, like the Old Republic with like Darth Revan, Darth Malak and all that. People more originality into that side, or them being brought from Legends, brought into that. To me, if you want to adapt the Old Republic, and Disney Plus are doing it, this is my thoughts. If these films don't work, if these films don't work that they have planned, what they could do is make an animated adaptation on Disney Plus, because then that way you can still have a Star Wars: The Old Republic series. The only concern people would have is because in the games of the Old Republic, Revan and the Exile had no voices until the actual Star Wars: The Old Republic games, and it was very hit and miss. I could understand why they gave them voice actors for that RPG game that's still ongoing, the longest running Old Republic game. But the problem with Darth Revan and the Exile is, what story do you adapt? Because in the Clone Wars, originally they were going to have Revan appear as his Sith form, but then that would confuse people because Revan started off as a Sith. Well, when he became Darth Revan, he was a Sith. But then you have all these different stories that, was Revan a female? Was Revan still the Jedi? Was Revan that Jedi that had the massive revelation from his former apprentice Darth Malak in front of Bastila, the woman who was part of the capture towards him, who had been travelling with you on that long, massive journey, knowing exactly who you are, but wouldn't say a word. The problem is, would you cast a male or a female for Revan? Because the Exile is definitively female, but they've never explicitly stated that because you had so many choices. Until the Old Republic game, it was officialized that Revan is male and she is female. But if you're going to adapt it, you've just got to make sure that the story is correct and you have the right actors. I'd personally bring back some of the actors from the games if they were to adapt the Old Republic, purely because it was such an amazing story and everything. I loved everything about the Old Republic, and it's always worth a look back on the games. They're always fun to play, and I think they have such potential to be adapted for that. Now, I have another thing on here that I don't really talk much about, is nostalgia, which I've been meaning to do so. I'm going to be also starting to do something called Nostalgia Corner, which will be like a separate entity on here. And my Nostalgia Corner pick is Monkey Island, the massive series that Lucasfilm won't seem to adapt, or anyone at Disney, because they feel it's too similar to the Pirates of the Caribbean arc. Guybrush Threepwood purely is one of my favourite pirates because he's comedic and his wife Elaine is this strong, independent governor on Melee Island. And to me, that alone is a story worth adapting. I've had this discussion with a lovely gentleman who I'm going to mention as C. Andrew Nelson, who was an artist, well, a VFX artist on my favourite one, The Curse of Monkey Island. And to me, I purely believe that it would work so spectacularly as a series, be it animated or the games get a big massive collection to revive it, because to me Monkey Island is so brilliant, so spectacular visually, the jokes are witty and timeless. The third one has held up the most. Don't get me wrong, each game feels like its own separate entity, even though they're interconnected apart from the first two, because they were made to look like each other, because they were direct continuations. But then when they got to the third game, the hand drawingness was done in the art style of like things like Beauty and the Beast, like when you got that beautiful hand drawing stuff, the comedy, the music, everything about Monkey Island is so spectacular. I mean, I personally feel, because this is my Nostalgia Corner entity on this channel, because I'm going to be incorporating this into the podcasts now, that if it's something like like that. I mean, you've got to realise that some like games or things are getting like a look back and revivals, but people don't really talk much about them. And to me, I honestly believe that that game series is one of the best series that LucasArts had ever developed, and it's such a shame that somebody has decided that it's not worthy to see the light of day after the Telltale games. I personally would sell the rights back to the original owner because he wants them back, the creator of Monkey Island, and let it live on in animation and everything else towards it. I would even love it if there was new books written in that world, new stories to be told. I mean, it's one of those franchises that you can't get enough of, because when people say less is more, because Monkey Island is no longer as freaking as it used to be, you've just got that craving for it. I mean, I used to love it. I mean, a zombie demonic pirate that every time he is defeated gets reborn as some kind of new entity, and it's the same villain from the first game that was started as that ghost pirate, comes back as a zombie, an undead reborn zombie in the third one, and then etc. etc. I mean, it just was spectacular, from the voice casting to the beautiful waters, the locations. I never really used to look at things like that, but it's absolutely stunning. Anyway, that's that for Nostalgia Corner. What else can we talk about? Oh yes, I cannot wait because we're coming to the end of the first season of RuPaul's Drag Race. Congratulations to Ru and team at the BBC and World of Wonder for giving the opportunity that it's being renewed for people to apply for the next season. So I'm quite putting my money on Bagger, Vivian, and Davina De Campo to be the top three. I'm so very sorry to Cheryl Hole. Yes, I'm very sorry, but I know who my top three are. Everyone's just know their top three are. And this is not a diss, this is not one of those podcasts about it, but to me, I feel like that's where it's heading for the final three. If Cheryl makes it, I'd just say good luck and congratulations. But again, I've already got my top three picked. I'll be upset if what I've been looking for doesn't get the pick. But hey ho, it's been a spectacular series. I mean, but it has the look of the current look of Rue's show, but it has that nostalgia vibe of series one from the American show, when you had people on there who's not listening to advice. Check. You have the workroom. Check. It feels like it's starting all over from scratch again, because it feels like that traditional first series vibe, but the budget of like the later seasons. I mean, I was so happy with it, and I just think it's taking off in the world. It's just absolutely wonderful and spectacular. So the point with these podcasts is just be positive, fun, critiquing stuff, look back on nostalgia. I mean, for Rocky Horror, I think I'm going to be doing exactly what I've said I'd be doing, but I'll upload them as two separate parts instead of one part, because what I do is in the morning of the day that I'll do it, I'll have this on record ready. I'd have the film on of the first one, so it'll be running in the background so I can visually guide you. So a bit like, when you're watching the DVDs, so you get the commentary. And then when I am done, I'll try my best to see if I can get it uploaded onto here. This might be one of the longest podcasts because the first one is quite a bit of a long film, even though the music is quick fire and everything. And I have to be very careful because it's all copyright reasons. So I'll try to keep the volume a bit low on the podcast, enough for me to hear what they're saying, but not enough to get the copyright strikes, because I'm a new channel and I want to be visually guiding people with reviews and afterthoughts and everything, because when you're critiquing, sometimes I find that people will just judge straight away on the performance. They never judge on what's in the surroundings. Like now with me, because I watch so many behind the scenes, I like to look at it from an artistic point of view. I like to look at it from the costuming, the staging, the lighting, the writing, the directing, the performance. A performance is key to critique, but you have to look at everything. You can't just say that one actor is the best, because even if it's an actor that you really like and you think is all stunning and everything, you've got to look at the entire ensemble, because without them, um, films just wouldn't be films without the entire ensemble from the directors and everything. So I think that's that for this week. Oh, and having given myself a title for episode 8, news and more, because that's what this is. We're trying to do news, reviews, like mini reviews now. We're doing Nostalgia Corner. I mean, each week I keep changing what format it is, because you want to keep everything fresh, because you cannot have the people tuning in and then they get switched off when you're not bringing something new to a table with a podcast. That's not a diss at anyone. It's just it's like film and television. If you're not bringing anything new to the game, anything on top of your cards or like a poker deck, and then you're left behind. So again, I can't do these quite as frequent because I have so many personal appointments that I'm not going to be willing to discuss on here. And I have lots of bits to do. I have television to catch up. I have reviews to do. I was supposed to be watching Star Wars Resistance for right now, but I thought I'd do a podcast because I hadn't done one in a while. Okay, I'm off to do that. Speak soon, ducks, and may the force be with you all. Bye-bye.